So, how do all these tips fit together to make you an experienced shooter? We practice in a specific method to get most variables to become constants. This will lead us to some consistency. From there on, we go to dice sets. We throw the dice and we start seeing that our dice behavior has certain tendencies. Examples. What do I mean by tendencies? We double pitch more often than we shoot. We have one die off axis more often than we shoot. We explode both dice more often than we shoot, or implode them. Our dice remain on axis more often than average. Or we drift our dice more often than we shoot, or we single pitch our dice more often than we shoot on axis. Those are examples of tendencies. But what is the definition of more often? Well, the averages are as follows. Both dice staying on axis, whether they're primary, secondary, or double pitches, 4.5 times out of 10. One die off axis, 4.5 times out of 10. Both dice off axis is a bit rare, 1 out of 10. Single pitch on axis, 2 out of 10. Primary hits, quite rare, 1 out of 10. Double pitch are also rare, 1 out of 10. Explosions, implosions, and drifts together, 1 out of 10. So you can see that you can recognize when your dice are doing something more often than they should. Right die off axis, 2 times out of 10. Left die off axis, another 2 times, or 2.2 times out of 10. But before you start making changes to your sets, understand that your mechanics evolve during a session. You have to understand that. You don't start with the same mechanics that you finish a session. So give yourself a chance to settle in, let's say 10 rolls, 20 rolls, and take in all the information that the dice are giving you back by results and by their behavior. Staying on axis, double pitching, off axis, drifting, implosions, explosions of both dice, things like that. Let's go to when you practice. During practice, do not change sets. Make the mechanical adjustments. Make the adjustments to the grip, adjustments to the fingers, adjustments to your thumb, adjustments to the count, how far your backswing is going to be, if any backswing is involved, adjustments to your landing zone, adjustments to your follow through. These are the things that you need to be doing when you're practicing at home. So if you double pitch, for example, then check your middle finger, because your middle finger may not be gripping both dice equally. You need that 50-50 split between the two dice on the middle finger. It's a very important factor to determine whether your dice are going to leave your fingers together in sync and rotating at the same rate. Number 2, if your left die is off axis, then check your index finger, alignment with the rest of your front fingers. So you have your index, your middle finger, and your ring finger, and they need to be aligned. That is the case with the par shot. With other shots, I cannot comment, but I'm sure there must be some alignment which you need to abide to. If your right die is off axis, then check your ring finger, alignment with the rest of the front fingers. If both dice exploded or imploded, check your thumb, because it's probably pushing the dice. And change your pickup position, make it closer to your body in order to force your thumb to grip the dice higher up than it was doing before. If your dice are drifting, then your vectors are off. Now, vectors are 2 things: direction and momentum, how much energy you put into the dice. So Either the forward energy of the dice is too little, so it lets the impact with the felt affect direction, so you need to push more and more energy into the dice to send them towards the back wall so that they are not so affected by the impact with the felt. Or your toss is shifting sideways, and that means there is not enough follow through and the whole toss was sent in the wrong direction. So you need to actually make sure that you have follow through after the dice leave your hands. If you're at a real casino table with real money on the line, remember, you have mechanics, you have consistency, and you are very well versed in all families of dice sets. Change the dice set families if you think that something is going wrong, and keep the grip and mechanical adjustments at a minimum. If double pitching occurs, that's the result, that's what you're going to see. Stay away from hardways. Consider V-sets or cross sixes. Consider hybrid V-sets or cross six hybrids. And also consider kissing sets. If one die goes off axis, then you have to stay away from V-sets. Consider using hardways, consider using kissing sets, and then if both dice go off axis, depends. If they're drifting, stay away from kissing sets. If they're imploding or exploding, stay away from hardways, and consider using V-sets or cross sixes and kissing sets. So you have options. You always have options of what to do, but it depends where you are. During practice, my recommendation to you is make the mechanical adjustments. At the real casino with live action and your money on the line, change the sets. But in order to do that, you need to actually trust yourself. And the trust will only come if you practice and get yourself well acquainted with all the sets. Practice all the sets, practice all the different V-sets or hardways or kissing sets, and just be ready to adapt and be confident that they're going to work for you. Let's talk about predictability. I talk a lot about predictability in my videos, and sometimes you see me call out a number before it actually hits. At its most basic level, predictability is based on consistency. An example, if you consistently throw one die off axis results, then choosing the hardways or kissing sets will predictably avoid the 7 more often than if you are using V sets or cross sixes sets. At the more advanced level, predictability is as follows. If you're throwing 4s and 10s with a 3 V set, then switching to a 2 V set, like a 2-3-2-1, should yield 6s and 8s. It's very simple. The numbers are there. The positions of the numbers are there to back up this thing. And vice versa. If your 2-3-2-1s are throwing 6s and 8s, change to a 3 V set, you get your 4s and 10s. If you're using cross sixes set, let's say a 6-4-6-5 set, and you're hitting 4s and 10s, switching to a 2 V set, like a 2-3-2-1 again, will yield the 5s and 9s that you're after, and vice versa. Predictability also extends to this proposition. If you don't 7 out on a 4-2-4-2 hardway set, then you won't 7 out on a 4-1-4-1 hardway set, or a 6-5-6-5 hardway set. The same proposition is valid for any V sets and cross sixes. Your SRR will be the same on a 2V, 3V, and cross sixes set. The same goes for kissing sets. The reason for that is that the positions of the numbers generating the 7s are in the same spots for each family of dice sets. And this is the beauty of categorizing dice sets into families. Once you understand that the generation of sevens comes from the same positions or coordinates on the dice faces, front, top, bottom, whatever, then you'll be able to understand that using a dice set of the same family will have the same impact, just different numbers and just different non-7 numbers. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this. This is George. Dice Art.